Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Josh, and today we have a very special guest in this video. Josh Manier, who's a friend of mine, also named Josh, is just insane in the real estate game. He's got like 6 different flip projects in the go right now, and he's into renting real estate. He knows the real estate game, and for all of you guys who are really interested in investing, building wealth, real estate's like an essential part of that. So what we want to do today is go see one of Josh's properties that are actually in progress. He's currently flipping it. We're going to learn about the numbers. We're going to pick his brain. We're going to learn the strategy. So stick around and let's go take a look at a property with our real estate pro, Josh Manier. So we're heading to Josh's place now, and we're gonna go see one of his properties, and apparently this one is the one that he has on the go that was like the crappiest before. So we're gonna get to show you guys some fantastic like before and after pictures, but it's kind of in a ratty end of town. I'm kind of stuck in rush hour, and we're gonna get there shortly, but we're gonna take a look through this property, see how far along the stage of development is, and ultimately get down to the numbers. What does he think he can make on this property? And ultimately, like, is there a career or wealth to be made flipping houses, investing in real estate? So here we are at Josh's property, one of the many different projects that he has on the go. And I want to show you guys around and help Josh actually show us around, because look at this guy that I haven't seen forever. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you,
buddy? Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. So Josh, like I said, is going to show us this project, which has some nutty before and afters. Like what this place looked like before, it looked like a crack house. Hopefully the neighbors didn't hear me, but all that being said, he has made this place look fantastic, and I can't wait to show you guys around inside and then ultimately talk about the numbers and see what kind of investment opportunity this is. So here we are right in the entranceway of this property. Josh, tell us a little bit about like what's going on in this main entrance area. It already looks like really modern. It looks like you've done a lot of stuff to it. So I'm curious to know what it was before and like what was all the work that you had to do here.
Yeah, so basically there was a wall kind of blocking this off.
This entire thing?
Exactly. So kitchen stayed where it was. This used to be a bedroom here, so we basically just converted it to dining room.
That was a bedroom.
Yeah, bedroom here. So
you can't even fit a bed in there.
It was small, definitely small. But, I mean, we lost one bedroom, but I think we gained a kind of
a decent
open
place
concept.
Yeah, hang out.
Exactly.
Kind of
so nothing really changed other than the wall getting removed. Kind of just opened up the space, put some hot lights in.
Nice.
Obviously new kitchen, new floor.
Yeah, the lighting just makes it look so much better. Like I'm not sure what the lighting looked like before, but.
Yeah, it wasn't this. Yeah, no pot lights, LED lights, like looks really clean.
So random question, what made you like get into real estate in the first place? What made you think that like that was a better way to go as opposed to, let's say, starting a company, investing in stocks? Like what about real estate was like, that's the thing that excites me?
For sure, yeah. I think it boils down to more like you're involved in it. You can really, like, I mean, you can get involved in stocks to an extent, but real estate, you're out, you're
tangible, like hands-on, you can see the fruits of your labor and that sort of thing. So then another quick question I have is like, how many different properties have you done? Because I know you have a few on the go and you've shown us properties in the past. Like how many do you even know how many you've done? Like
some of them I own, some of them I just do general contracting for. So let's say other investors or friends and family if they want to redo their house kind of thing.
Oh, crazy.
So sometimes it's not just flips or like refinances like with rentals. Sometimes it's just kind of random people you're just doing renovations for. It's the same concept, but obviously a little bit different of business.
So then how do you, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I'm curious, like how do you monetize that? Are you charging them like a percentage of the profit, or do you just take a fee? Like how does that work when you're doing it for someone whose property you don't actually own? For
sure, yeah. Like when you have volume with contractors, you can get pricing that's a little bit better. So I can still stay competitive. However, you can also upcharge material. You can do charge a management fee.
I see.
There's a couple different ways to kind of run that.
Cool. So you'll kind of quote them for an entire project. You'll find a way to like make it worthwhile for you, and then you'll kind of just handle it the same way you'd handle any other flip.
Exactly. And if I'm not busy enough, it keeps my contractors busy. It keeps them kind of loyal, you know. So
I've got a rental falling apart. Maybe Josh can do mine.
Yeah.
Want to do mine? Maybe we'll do a project. If you guys get this video to 1,000 likes, we'll get Josh in, and we're actually gonna put money into my property, and we're gonna flip mine. Are you in?
I like it.
Okay, awesome. So now we're kind of sitting in what is the living room. I wanna show you guys the kitchen though, because that's beautiful. Josh has this really nice eye for like different coloring, or maybe it's just his subcontractors who have the eye for the coloring, but I like the way he designs stuff. So Josh, tell us a little bit about the kitchen, what was here, and what you've changed.
For sure. So actually, I wish I could take credit for it, but when I bought it, it was kind of the beginning of COVID. There was material shortages. So it was actually a show kitchen from a distributor in Winnipeg here.
Okay.
Super close to this property. I actually found it on Facebook Marketplace. So we're getting quartz countertops, came with the package. Kind of had to make it work. We kind of had to move some cabinets around, but love the two-tone. The navy's kind of my thing. I love
the
the
navy's
navy.
your thing, the gold and the navy.
Exactly.
So nice.
So kind of, we were kind of picked it out for us, but super happy with how it turned out for sure.
So another question I have for you is like, let's say we've got beginning investors, and we know, like, I talk about stocks a lot, and you can build a portfolio where the return is like pretty guaranteed. You don't want to say guaranteed, but it's pretty stable.
Sure.
To what degree can you kind of like guarantee that a property is going to be successful? If I'm a new, younger investor getting into real estate, like, how am I ever going to know if there's any guarantee that this is going to pay off? Is there a guarantee? Is there not? How much risk is involved? Are there times where you just don't make money on a property? Like,
for sure. Like, the good thing about real estate is, like, let's say you go over budget or you don't get the price you want to sell for, you can always refinance and get a lot of your money out.
Right.
You might end up a little bit in the negative, but you also still own the property.
Right.
You can end up renting it. Typically, I kind of can go both ways. Like, most times, if you have a flip, you can turn it into a rental and get a lot of your money.
I see. So, yeah, that's funny, because like in the stock market, we have this idea where it's like, you don't want to have a trade that becomes an investment. Like, you try to place a trade and maybe it doesn't go your way, so you just like end up holding it until it recovers value.
Yeah.
That's not great in the stock market, but in real estate, if you've got a flip that doesn't necessarily go your way and you're willing to float it, now you can just have rental income. Like, it's almost like a backstop in the event that the flip doesn't work out.
For sure, and you end up tying up cash sometimes, but it's not always a bad thing.
Right.
You know, you can refinance a couple of years. It's
totally.
Tax incentives. There's
That's
tons of
unreal.
different things. So,
great.
Yeah.
So tell me about this room we're in right now. This looks like a bedroom.
Yeah, so this is the bedroom. So like I said, we lost the one bedroom on the front of the house.
Right.
We kept this one here. We actually made it a slight bit bigger just because the bedrooms are a little
they're
small.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, just a basic.
What year was this built?
This was, I believe, in 1912.
Right, so back in those days, like, mine was my property was born. My property, I think is from like 1895.
Yeah.
And that's just so typical of older homes, is like, they didn't care about their bedroom sizes.
No.
They're like, we're just gonna put a bed right in the middle, that's what the room is for.
Very different times.
Whereas now it's like, bedrooms can be huge and people want a big room, but
yeah,
this is, I guess, a testament to the times that it was
Yeah.
built in. So next we're gonna check out the bathroom, which is closest to the bedroom, and it looks like there's been a lot of stuff done, because I can guarantee you this floor was not here before, or any of those finishings.
Yeah, so we actually extended this out. We lost a little bit of the living room, but living room's huge now.
Yeah.
So we managed to get the full tub in here. We got a bigger vanity, kind of have a little nook here for the toilet. Yeah, gained a lot of space here. It's one of two full bathrooms in the house, so I mean, we wanted to make it usable, but there's also other options.
Right,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, that's about as big as you probably
Yeah,
want
it looks
or need.
great. For a house like this, it's a relatively good size
Exactly.
for a bathroom. Now, another thing that comes to mind for me is like, there's just a lot of apprehension. Like, you've done so many of these properties that it's like, you have a system, you get in, you know what needs to be done, you're comfortable with the process.
For sure.
But like a beginner who is like kind of wanting to maybe get started in this kind of thing, maybe a lot of you guys want to get started with real estate, what are the things that are going to come up? What are the surprises? What are like the emergencies? What are the things that happen where it's just unexpected and you have to be prepared for that? Or what advice would you give to someone who should be preparing for like issues, for things to come up?
Yeah, I'd say holding costs are a big one.
Holding costs.
Every month that you have, right? You're holding, if you have a mortgage, you're holding interest, you're holding insurance, you got property tax, you got a ton of different things.
Right.
That's something that even for myself, even kind of sneaks up on you sometimes.
Right.
Permits can slow things down a ton.
Okay.
So the thing with permits is you have a different inspector that comes basically every time. So one time you pass for something, the next time the guy cashes and says no.
Right.
Actually not.
Crazy.
So it can get difficult, but yeah, I mean, I'd say timeline's a big one. Not having enough cash ready to go.
You gotta be able to float the house.
Yeah, if you run out of money, you can't sell the house if it's half done.
Right, totally.
So that's a big one.
Okay. So making sure you're well capitalized is something that I talk about a lot. Like, a lot of young people, especially a lot of you guys who are young who watch these videos, always want to ask, like, I want to get into real estate and I'm like 18 years old. And this is something I learned the hard way, and you've probably learned a couple times, is like, you need to be well capitalized, right? There's a reason that real estate has a bit of a threshold, like a barrier to entry to get into. You can't just hop in with a down payment and expect that this is going to turn out.
No.
You got to be ready for all sorts of stuff, emergencies, hot water tanks going, roofs, carrying costs, like all these things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you could budget, but you know, things happen, right?
Totally. So let's take a look at the basement now, which from what I understand about this area, basements are usually pretty cramped, but we'll see what Josh has done with the place, and of course we'll show you some before and afters of what we've done here. So here we are in the basement of the house again, and a lot of these basements in this area are like just concrete. They're like dungeons, they're creepy and weird, but Josh seems to be actually putting some effort into doing some drywall. You can see, like I said, the basement height's not ideal, hitting my head on there, but for someone who's just using this for storage, or maybe it's a very, very particularly short person, I mean, this could be fantastic to have your bedroom down here. Maybe you could put things in here, but What's the plan for this area? What are you thinking about this place?
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, the ceiling height was the biggest downfall.
Right.
There used to be a subfloor. We got rid of that.
Oh, okay.
We've really struggled, but we've been able to slowly self-level the entire basement to make it kind of somewhat usable. So we're gonna put vinyl plank down here. We got 2 egress windows to add 2 more bedrooms to the basement here, so it's a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
And then we have a bathroom down here that we added as well.
Right.
We moved all the junction boxes so we could actually drywall the ceiling instead of a drop ceiling, so we gained a little bit there. I mean, we could both stand on this side, it's just the bulkhead for the ducting kind of had to stay, but other than that, we made the basement as pretty much as usable as possible. I mean, it's 2 bedrooms, a bathroom.
And are you expecting to like do it up nice in terms of like the finishings, like kind of what we see upstairs, or not so much? Yeah.
So basically, exactly like it's upstairs.
Right.
We just got to get this a little bit more level, just because of the unevenness. But yeah, once the flooring's down here, obviously paint, and it's gonna look exactly like upstairs.
Right. So here we are back upstairs, but I gotta ask Josh some of the important questions about the investment aspects of this, because I think a lot of people understand like you can almost fast track your wealth by getting involved in real estate. Like that was at least my experience. I had this rental property, and of course I have all sorts of other investments and a business I build, but like when you see that you put 5 or 20% down on a property and then it appreciates 20% and you're like, wow, that was just like an explosion of net worth or equity that I now have.
Yeah.
Do you think that like real estate is something people could use to like fast track the accumulation of their wealth kind of thing?
For sure. I think real estate's the easiest thing to leverage against, right? You can borrow quite easily.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you put say 10%, 20% down, you're getting a mortgage for, let's say, 500 grand,
right,
or whatever,
and gaining equity,
gaining that percentage on
based
the
on 500
amount, not what you just put
in. So huge leverage, massive leverage there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this property, what did you buy it for? What do you think you're going to put into it at the end of the day, and what's your estimate to what you can get out of it? That's what everyone probably kind of wants to know, right?
Yeah. So this one actually, the numbers on this one were a little bit tighter than I probably normally go. We just kind of squeezed the budget. For sure. I think we budgeted around 55 to 60. I think we're pretty close to. So that might be a little bit over, just with obviously having to get the kitchen, a show kitchen. It was a little nicer than maybe we would have.
For sure. So we put in 55 or 60. What was the price that you paid for the property?
So I just paid just under 200. I think it was 199. 199.
Yeah. So we're into it for, let's say, 250, something like that, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
And do you expect you'll get that or more?
Yeah, I'd like to see, I mean, comparables are definitely not as high as I'm planning on going, but I think it's definitely finished nicer than the comparables.
For sure.
I'm really hoping to stretch it a little bit further, but yeah, probably break even after all my closing costs and holding costs and all that kind of stuff. Probably looking at, I'd have to sell for about 280.
Right.
It's a little bit over, but...
but as we know, like the market where we're in right now is super hot. Properties are getting 10, 20 offers on them. So it's very possible you get some sort of bidding war between the right buyers and you end up very positive. And what would you say in a situation where you feel like maybe, you know, among all the different properties I have going, because you have multiple on the go, you know, some of them are gonna account for a massive portion of all your gains. Some of them are gonna be break even or a small loss.
Absolutely.
How do you mentally think about those ones that just, do you see them as a learning experience? Is it just something that happens, whatever, we move on? How do you feel about those ones that don't, you know, necessarily explode?
For sure, like it's a volume game too, right? So, I mean, obviously, perfect world, I'd have every property that makes a lot of money, but it just doesn't work like that. So, at the end of the day, you're gonna have some that you lose on, or break even. I mean, obviously I don't want to lose, but break evens are fine with me. I mean, as long as you can make money on some, you're still coming out ahead, right?
Awesome, so, you gave yourself that shot at making a bunch, which is great.
Exactly.
Beautiful, Josh, thank you so much for having us, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Guys, everyone give a big thumbs up and a nice comment for Josh. It's lovely that he allows us to come to these properties and see what they're doing. And again, get this to 1,000 likes so that he can redo mine for me. That would be great. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you got any value out of this whatsoever, make sure to hit that like button below, hit subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.